conclusion of tape 1, we're on tape 2, beginning of tape 2. We had to change locations because of conflict of schedule and other meetings that were scheduled at the other location. Anyway, Paul, come on back over here. Let's continue with your list here, Paul.
Okay. I was at David first. I was talking about some of the dates that we got a better location now. We got the ocean. The bathroom.
Water pipes, yeah.
The bathroom is right there upstairs. Oh, I'll go anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw my David Thorstad, and it's like it was December 2nd, 1978 that they had a meeting out in
Who's Dave?
NAMBLA.
Continue with that. Oh, once you're going to talk about NAMBLA? Okay, we're talking about NAMBLA.
I was talking about David Thorstad and how
Right, okay.
I was on how I met him.
And you're looking at your calendar there.
And I have kind of marked. It's kind of weird how I mark things. I don't put anything except for.
Will that take it there? Yeah.
I'll have to get a close up on it later. It's like I don't know how I even remember they like it in the marketing thing. They just got NAMBLA written there. That's when they formed NAMBLA, when they actually formed it.
What was the date on that again?
December 2nd, 1978.
Were you there?
Yeah.
When they formed
Boston
NAMBLA?
Church.
Huh?
It was in the Boston Church, yeah.
Remember the name of the church?
I got the name of it somewhere, but I have to find it right now. Boston Community Church or something like that.
Who was there when they formed it?
David Thorstad, a couple of the guys that they became the steering members later on and stuff. I'm not exactly sure who was all there. I know David Thorstad was the main one there. I believe Andretti was there. Andriette, I think it's Andriette. He was kind of a kid at the time, so Bill Andriette. And several other guys that were there also. I'm not sure exactly.
How many people were there?
Probably 1 to 2 dozen.
Where were they from?
Mainly from Boston. They used to be called the Boston Boise Committee, and then they changed them to becoming
Boston what committee?
Boise.
Boise, okay.
B-O-I-S-E.
Okay. Will that take it there? Yeah.
I'll have to get a close up on it later. It's like I don't know how I even remember they like it in the marketing thing. They just got NAMBLA written there. That's when they formed NAMBLA, when they actually formed it.
What was the date on that again?
December 2nd, 1978.
Were you there?
Yeah.
When they formed
Boston
NAMBLA?
Church.
Huh?
It was in the Boston Church, yeah.
Remember the name of the church?
I got the name of it somewhere, but I have to find it right now. Boston Community Church or something like that.
Who was there when they formed it?
David Thorstad, a couple of the guys that they became the steering members later on and stuff. I'm not exactly sure who was all there. I know David Thorstad was the main one there. I believe Andretti was there. Andriette, I think it's Andriette. He was kind of a kid at the time, so Bill Andriette. And several other guys that were there also. I'm not sure exactly.
How many people were there?
Probably 1 to 2 dozen.
Where were they from?
Mainly from Boston. They used to be called the Boston Boise Committee, and then they changed them to becoming
Boston what committee?
Boise.
Boise, okay.
B-O-I-S-E.
Okay.
Except that sounds like something that should be in Montana. And then I was at a convention in New York with NAMBLA in June of 1980. and that was for some kind of meetings they were having. And I think it was a parade or something they were doing. And they were having a parade, and I went out there to be around them and stuff.
And how many were there at that meeting?
I'm not even sure, but that one was just a lot of people. And then June of 1982, I went to, I think it was Washington, D.C. for, I think it was during the 19th or so. I got the date written somewhere, but I can't read it. That's how bad it is. It's just a bad copy. It was for a nuclear demonstration. That was in Washington, D.C. and stuff, and there were a bunch of us marching with a bunch of other groups that were marching against nuclear weapons and
That was
stuff.
NAMBLA?
Well, NAMBLA was part of it. There was some other demonstration that was taking place at the time for an anti-nuclear demonstration. So it wasn't just NAMBLA, it was all kinds of groups there. There was a big parade for it and everything. And I just happened to take part in it with NAMBLA. Then in October of 82, I went to Philadelphia for a meeting that they were having. They had
October 82.
Yeah, 82. Now it was over, I think it's Columbus Day. It was in October. It was during Columbus Day holiday and stuff. They had a meeting at big convention hall and stuff.
NAMBLA again.
Gay, yeah. Well, they had other groups there too. They had the Philadelphia gay and lesbian groups there. They had people from what they called Fag Rag and the magazine and stuff. They had Robin from the local gay youth movement they had out there and stuff. They had all their speakers and stuff from out there, and they had what other names down? I got that written down somewhere. I have to get into that, but I don't want to get into detail with it right now.
We can get into detail later if we have time. Depends on how much time we have.
Okay. And then in December of 82, I went out to...
How many people were at that Philadelphia meeting?
There were a lot of people at the Philadelphia meeting. They had FBI agents and everything else all around there. They had people from the press were taking pictures of them. They had all these gay people taking pictures of them. So it was kind of a big thing that I was shooting.
What was the FBI doing there?
We think it was the FBI. They were bugging at places that they were trying to find out what was going on with this group, what they were trying to accomplish, because it was a NAMBLA meeting.
Yeah.
But
who all from NAMBLA was there?
Oh boy, that's a big one, because there was a lot of people from NAMBLA. David Thorstad was there, Bill Andrea, the attorney that they had, which was Michael J. Lavery. I'm not sure if Hugh was there. I'm sure Wayne Sunday was present. Robert Rhodes or Annie Rhodes. I'm not sure what his first name was.
Were you molested at all these meetings?
Well, there was on the trips that were there, yeah.
So were you molested at the Boston meeting, and the New York meeting, and the Philadelphia meeting? Who molested you?
Different people. I don't know who they all were. I mean, Thorstad. There was Hugh Hamill. There was Wayne Sunday. There was Carl Ehlers, which was me. Summer convention in June of 80 was a picnic and stuff like that. Yeah.
Is that why they had you there?
Me and other kids that were there. That's what our purpose was for.
Okay, keep going. Anything more on NAMBLA?
I'll have to come back on them because there's a lot on them, but
Yeah.
I'll go on with them.
Well, let's discuss NAMBLA later on. Depends on how much time we have.
Okay. Next name on the list is Harry Anderson, who I met.
Is that Harold Anderson?
Yeah, Harold Anderson. I call him Harry. Whom I met through, like I said, Carlson's group. And I had sexual relations with him, I think it was about 10 times exactly. And I was usually at the Red Lion Inn. I think it was, I'm not sure, I think it was still the Hilton at the time. They changed the name right about